Well, we're back down the shed at the start of another week. First of all, I'd like to say thanks to everyone that's subscribed to me on YouTube, left words of encouragement in the comment section. That's much appreciated. Well, this week we're going to try and get it going. I know I've said that for the last couple of weeks, but it really does feel like it's going to happen this week. There's only a few things left to do before we can try and start the bike. Got to connect that last part of the oil pump up. Check out that list. She's really getting to the point where there's not a lot left to do before we can pull the trigger on it and see if it starts. Okay, let's see what we can do. A quick cleanup and we're into it for another week. Last week we finished off by doing the oil pump wiring. I've since modified it and I'm going to put a connector into the bike's harness where the oil pump plugs in. Then I won't need to remove it down at the oil pump if I ever need to disconnect it again. So that's the first task, is to basically connect up the oil pump. When I've rewired the bike, I probably should have drawn an updated wiring diagram. So I'm not sure which wire is earthed to the oil pump. So by using the multimeter, I can confirm that it's the brown one. Okay, there's the oil pump wiring all finalised. What have we got to look at next on the list? Okay, fuel line clamps. We'll put those guys on. Then we'll look at putting a battery in to turn the key on and hopefully no smoke comes out. I've fitted all the fuel lines, put the hose clamps on, had a good once over. It's all looking pretty good. I've run the fuel lines out to this fuel tank, which we'll be using to see if we can start the bike. So that's all tight, ready to go. Let's put the battery in it. I fitted the battery. This one's only used to test the electronics in the bike. Basically, the blow-off valve will hit this battery, so I need a lower one, which I've yet to pick up. No fuses blew. That was a bonus, but then I realised that I haven't actually plugged most of the bike in. So we'll plug that in and cross our fingers and see what happens. So the harness that I haven't plugged in doesn't look straightforward to plug in like everything else. I've got to try and get it on top of the rocker cover, which will be a little bit tricky. So you'll have to bear with me while I pull the radiator forward and see if I can get it in there. We'll see how that goes, but that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so that harness has been fitted. We unbolted the radiator, had to push it forward, sneak the harness over the top of the engine. It's all loosely up the top here at the moment, so we can just make sure everything works before we bury it under the fuel pressure regulator. Before we turn the key on, I've disconnected all the coils because Glenn at Autosport reckons we've got to change a few settings in the ECU to make sure that it's all set up correct for these new style coils, since we used those big old Bosch ones before. Well, we're about to turn the key on. Let's see what happens. We got a headlight.
Yes!
I better put the camera down and do some proper checking before I continue on. It's all looking pretty good. When I dropped the switch on to run, the fuel pump primed and then turned off. I tapped the starter button, that also works. So before we run that fuel pump much longer, it basically does its self-priming thing. We better put some petrol in it so we don't hurt the pump. Time to fill up the jerry can. We're definitely getting closer to starting the bike. Only a few little things left to do. We've got the hand controller plugged in. The ECU powers up. That's a bonus. A little bit of wiring stuff I have to check out. The throttle position works in the bottom right corner. It actually goes to 106%, so it will definitely go faster than it ever has before. Before we can start it, easy ones. Oil level, set the dwell, check we got spark, fuel pressure test, plug in the water temp sensor, get the laptop and see if I can load the software onto it, and then see if I can communicate with the ECU on the new laptop. I'll make sure the oil pump works, and I'll mount the hand controller where I can actually see the thing. The first thing we want to cross off the list today is the water temp sensor. The sensor's been fitted. Here are the wires for the sensor back to the ECU. I need to connect it here obviously, and also ground out the sensor through the radiator, and that's where the other wire will connect to. There's the terminals fitted to the end of the wires. Now we've just got to shrink down the heat shrink. So the water temp sensor's been connected. After that, we want to basically look at setting up the dwell time in the bike's ECU. So I gave my mate Glenn from Autosport Electronics a call, and we worked out how to adjust it in the woof. Basically, the bike turned on. We worked out that you push this fella here a few times, and this is where it's all adjusted. And we had to change this number from 3.8 milliseconds to 1.5 milliseconds because we've gone from using those big Bosch V8 coils, 4 of those, to these ZXR 1000 coils. So it's far different. Okay, so that's all done. We'll cross him off the list. Okay, the fuel pressure is the next thing we want to test. So what we're going to do is tee it into this fuel line here and see what sort of pressure we've got. We've got the fuel pressure gauge plumbed in line on the pressure side. Next we're going to need some fuel. So you've all probably been wondering why there's been a little boat parked here for the whole year. And the reason behind that is so that I could steal the petrol from it. So now you know. Rightio, let's fuel up the little jerry can over there and see what sort of fuel pressure we got. No doubt someone's already thought of this before, but basically this is the only piece of hose I have as a siphon hose. I took this little valve off the end of my little petrol tank off my boat, gave this thing a pump, and it's a ripper. I might use that on a siphon hose at the shop. The things you stumble across. Here we go. We're going to turn on the key, prime the system, and see what sort of fuel pressure we have. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. So about 52 pound. Little pre-filter doing his work. Right, now I'm going to put the camera down and make sure I don't have any leaks. So the fuel pressure's been tested and it has 52 psi. The next thing we need to check is that this oil pump works. I can turn the key on and off, but I can't really hear it working. Maybe because the sound of the fuel pump is so noisy. So I'll disconnect the fuel pump and see if I can hear the oil pump working. I've disconnected the fuel pump wire so that I can hear the oil pump while it's running, which it isn't. So it's either my wiring or it's a faulty oil pump. It was running when I started the bike about 10 months ago. The oil pump did work, but while I was doing the suspension, it actually rolled off the trolley jack and damaged the plastic housing on the end where the wiring goes. But I still don't think I hurt the pump bad enough where it won't work. So what I'm going to do is check my wiring and then basically run power to the wires that power up the oil pump and see if the pump works before I go on a wild goose chase. So the oil pump's working. I poked a couple of wires into that link harness I made, ran them straight to the battery, and there's nothing wrong with the harness or the pump. So it must be my dodgy wiring that's let us down. While I was playing around with the oil pump, I swapped the polarity of the wires over just to see if it sounded any different in the oil pump. And what I think it did was it actually sucked the oil out of the sump where it returns it and pumped it back up this vent hose and tried to push it back into this crankcase breather system. So yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. So what I'll do now is I'll let this drain out and fire up the oil pump and make sure that I have suction on this vent hose, not pressure, because I basically pumped the sump into this poor fella here. So my little guess at the wires down on the oil pump was wrong. So basically now if I reverse the polarity, the vent pipe has suction on it like it should have, which means if I connect it back up to this little barb that's dripping oil, it'll suck it all out of that system and it'll all be working fine. Well, it's been 8 weeks since I cut the tendon off the back of my thumb with this Stanley blade. So I've just come from the hand surgeon and it's all looking pretty good. I'm starting to get some movement back in it, and also he said to stop wearing that black glove. So you might see my thumb a bit more while I work on the bike without its fancy black hardware. Here's the software for the laptop. How old's that stuff? So with a bit of luck that'll still install up on the new computer and we can try and talk to the ECU. Everything works correctly. The oil pump, the coils have power when they're meant to, and the injectors. So we've topped up the engine oil and we're going to see if we got spark. Awesome. So now we got spark, we got fuel pressure. Just need to find the diagnostic cable so I can plug into the laptop, because what the Wolf runs I don't actually have the correct cable, and that's what we're up to.